Thought leadership is like personal branding on steroids. Okay. So personal branding, Jeff Bezos said, your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Personal branding is how the world sees you. And in a professional environment, how everybody in your professional ecosystem sees you is really important. Your work colleagues, your boss, your stakeholders, your clients, suppliers, people in your industry. How people in your professional world see you is obviously an important thing. It's also very important when you're job seeking. So your personal brand is undeniably an important thing. I see that as managing your own PR. Don't let it happen by accident. Accept that you have a personal brand. Think about how you want people to perceive you. Maybe write 3 adjectives down that describe you and focus on that. But how do you want people to think about you? And go about managing that. Be deliberate about how you put yourself across to the world. Thought leadership is kind of that and at an advanced level. So a thought leader is somebody who's seen as an expert, as the go-to person in their industry. It could be a business or an organization or an individual. Lots of businesses use thought leadership to aid their marketing efforts. It's a tool for corporate growth. So people like Cisco, Dyson, McKinsey, Deloitte, Accenture, lots of organizations are out there as thought leaders, people who are leading the way in the way that the world is viewed or that their subject area is viewed. And, Cisco built a thought leadership strategy around innovation. And lots of organizations have gone down that route. You'll see organizations running webinars and writing white papers and reports and doing industry research and publishing that. They're out there as the experts. They want people to think of them as the top of the pile, the people that know their stuff when it comes to the area they operate in. And individuals can do that too. And it's such a powerful strategy for raising your profile and putting yourself in a position for top jobs. Because if you're seen as a thought leader, opportunities are going to gravitate towards you. You're going to be noticed. You're going to be somebody of influence. There's a power to it. The foundation of it is thinking about your own personal intellectual property. So what thoughts, ideas, philosophies, methodologies, processes, systems, frameworks have you personally invented? Now, you might have only invented them in your own head at this point in time, but if you were to think about things that you do that no one else does, you've just built your own way of doing something, well, then write it down and describe it. If you think about Prince 2, that project management methodology that pretty much everybody's familiar with, that was once just an idea in someone's head. It was a way they worked. And at some point, they would have written it down and described it, probably at the point where they needed to repeat the process and train other people on how to use that. So they wrote it down and they described it, and then they gave it a name. I mean, I don't know how long they pondered over it, but it was all about projects in controlled environments. So they probably wrote that down and very quickly realized that made a nice little acronym, which is Prince. And then the second version of it, Prince 2. And then it was commercialized, and then it was at once upon a time, whether it still is, I'm not sure, whether Agile has taken over, but it was probably the most used, the most well-known project management methodology on the planet. It was once just an idea in someone's head. So if you've got ideas in your head, write them down. Describe that way of working, that process, that framework, that system, that methodology. Give it a name. If you give it a name, you give it a life. Imagine children with no name. They'd just be little creatures running around, wouldn't they? Imagine that. People with no names. It would be odd. By giving something a name, you bring it to life. So bring your own personal intellectual property to life by giving it a name. Then you've got something to talk about and to write about. So you can write articles, blogs, white papers, reports. You can talk about it, presentations, seminars, webinars, podcasts. All of these places, all of these channels are for you to get your expertise out into the world to help people, but also to raise your own profile and to build your status as a thought leader so that opportunities, the best opportunities, magnetically gravitate towards you.